problem is that it's not so laughable when you look at China's actions on the ground. And in the case of the Philippines, of course, we came almost to blows with the Chinese over the second Thomas Stroll not long ago. So I think that's something very serious that we're looking at right now. Now, the other important thing here is what is the United States going to do? And in the case of the Philippines, actually, the United States provided just over the horizon support. The United States actually dispatched some drones in the area, and our understanding is that there was also a kind of a joint patrol, a quadrilateral patrol among Philippines, Japan, Australia, and the United States near the area in the Ayungin Shoal or Second Thomas Shoal. So the Philippines is really stepping it up with traditional allies because under Junior, there's the realization that the old ways of Duterte being friendly to China just doesn't work.
Yes. Rich, in terms of what's at stake here economically, fishing rights, oil and gas exploration rights, shipping lanes, freedom of navigation, absolutely critical given the region's significance. Can you quantify the economic ramifications if relationships really turn south?
Well, I mean, there are a whole host of calculations about this. I mean, in a situation of all-out economic new Cold War, there are some studies that suggest, and I think The Economist magazine had a recent study on that, whereby, it could shave off to 3 to 4% of the GDP of some of the countries in the region. And that's not even the worst-case scenario. We're just looking at a full-blown trade war situation and breakdown of trade linkages. Now, I think if there were to be conflict on war in the region, that's going to affect trillions of dollars of annual trade. On a daily basis, you're looking at hundreds of billions of dollars of trade being disrupted. And much of Southeast Asia is highly dependent on trade, not only for economic prosperity, but for their basic survival. The Philippines imports a huge part of its staple foods like rice from neighboring countries like Vietnam. 90% comes from Vietnam. A lot of rest comes from Thailand. And where do you think that passes through, right? It passes through the South China Sea and areas like that. So this is food security. This is national economic security. A lot is at stake. So no one wants conflict here. But the problem is we're sleepwalking into it unless China, the biggest player in this region, has a moment of self-awareness. And that's exactly what we're not having, strategic self-awareness.